Good morning, everyone. Tony Saraceno and the Tony Saraceno Baseball Show. I always ask you again, if you like what you hear, subscribe. I've been doing it the wrong way. I've been doing it this way, and I have a sneaky suspicion the subscribe button is on the other side, so hit this side if you like what you hear. Okay, swept yesterday. I usually don't bring out props on this show, but I was thinking about bringing out a broom since the Mets got swept yesterday. 12 games on the 500, 9 games out of the wild card. Things are getting darker and darker every day. I'm not going to go over the game last night. I did watch the game, both games. I had the good fortune to have on. I said I was going to do a show on the Met coaching staff. And there are many who feel that coaching is overrated. You know, these are big league baseball players. They're not a coach. And there is some truth to that. There's also some truth that coaches can make a difference, and good coaches can definitely influence a player here or there. Also, I think good coaches just manage a game well. They're able to get across fundamentals in a very succinct and proper way, and it gets implemented into the game. So to me, coaches showed a total professionalism of your organization. And when you got amateurs there coaching, your organization is an amateur staff. And I'm going to go down the Met coaching list here. Okay, I promised I would do this show. And I'm going to start with Kai Correa. Kai Correa is Mendoza's bench coach. And he played a few games of college ball. And he has basically no other playing experience outside of that. He managed 3 games for the Giants at the end of the 2023 season and then was let go. He then got in the Cleveland Indian organization, where he spent the last few years as a bench coach and doing a few other things. I don't understand what his role is as a bench. Is he looking for things that Mendoza can't see? To me, a good bench coach can steal signs. He can see when infielders move, that a play might be on. There's a lot of little things. There's a lot of little tidbits of the game within the game that I think maybe a bench coach could help, like a Don Zimmer, who was with Joe Torre, and Zimmer was in baseball for 50 years, and he got to see some of that stuff. But that's what you got there. He doesn't have much experience doing anything. You got Rafael Fernandez, who is the assistant hitting coach, and he does have some experience. He has no big. He never played in the big leagues. He did play in the minors for about 8 years. He never got any higher than Double-A. He's the assistant hitting coach, which is fine. Okay, I'm not going to get on him as an assistant hitting coach. Jeff Albert is 45 years old, and he is the hitting coach for the Mets. And he has played, this is really what's ridiculous, he's played a couple of years independent ball. Okay, why don't I go coach and be the hitting instructor for the Mets? Seriously. So that Jeff Albert has 0 experience as a player hitting any type of professional pitching through an organizational structure. So A ball, low A, high A, Double-A, Triple-A, big leagues, he has none. 0. Okay? He's basically could be Teacher Man on YouTube. He could be my videos on YouTube for all you know, and they made me the hitting instructor. Okay? So, again, what this really tells me is, Jeff Albert looks at film every day and tries to spot inconsistencies and tries to find patterns. That's great. That's wonderful. Don't forget that the other side is doing this. So, in-game adjustments and understanding how to look for things when situations change, because you were a big league hitter or you played at least Triple-A, extremely high levels of competition, is not there for Mr. Jeff Albert. And you can look this up on Baseball Reference. He played, he played basically 11 games of independent ball. A total of 11 games of independent ball. Troy Snitker is the other hitting coach. The Mets have 2 full-time hitting coaches and an assistant hitting coach. Okay. Snitker did get some time at high A. He played 1 game at high A. And he played another 3 games at regular A ball, and that's what he's got. Okay, so obviously these guys are coaching players who are playing at a level that they've never seen before. All right, but at least Snicker got some professional time in, though it was A ball. Again, so we've got 3 hitting instructors. None of them have played higher than Double A. Seriously, we have 3 hitting instructors, and none have played higher than Double A, and 2 basically haven't even played really professionally. I mean, mostly independent and in A ball, and the Snickers played a few games at A ball. Okay, so let's go to Justin Willard. He is the Met pitching coach. Okay, and Willard, again, these names don't sound familiar because they never played. Okay, college pitcher. That's it. College pitcher. Never played, was never drafted. In fact, in college, he never had an ERA less than 7.71 for a season, and his career there for 3 seasons and 35 innings was an 11. 35 innings and 64 hits he gave up. So he's taking his talent level and it's being implemented and imparted onto the Met pitchers, obviously. What is he going to tell Sean Manaea? We are a long way from Rube Walker, okay, and Leo Malzone from the Braves here, who were just brilliant pitching minds. This is what the Mets got. And though Malzone didn't play big league ball, he had enough to go and tell Glavine, Smoltz, and Maddox, how to pitch. But anyway, that's an unfair comparison. I'll take some of that back. But you got Justin Willard, who's played college ball. So I've named your 2 hitting coaches, your assistant hitting coach, your bench coach, and Justin Willard, your pitching coach. And there's 0 so far big league experience and nobody who's played higher than Double A. That's the assistant hitting coach, played Double A ball. Okay, Jose Rosado is the bullpen coach, and he was a big leaguer. It's funny. He's got the most nondescript role on the team as the bullpen coach, which basically the bullpen coach is the guy who picks up the phone and tells you who to warm up. Okay, go read ball 4. Today's pitching coaches, all right. So he's going to sit behind you and he's going to tell Mendoza, Brazoban's looking good in the bullpen and warms up. He looks like he's ready. Okay, great. He's the bullpen coach, by the way. Okay, he's the bullpen coach. At least he's got some major league experience. I remember Jose Rosado. So at least there's somebody on his team who's stood on a big league mound or has stood in a big league batter's box. Okay. Gilbert Gomez, first base coach. Okay, 1 game at A-ball. This first base coach, 1 game at A-ball. He hasn't even played. Give me somebody who's played 12 years in the minors at Double A and Triple A and was reading pitchers, at a very high level. Okay, he has played 1 game of A-ball. Everything else, and he's played 36 games in the rookie league. Everything else after that was independent baseball or like some starter division. So would a manager pick these guys? Like Mendoza has spent his career. He has spent his career in the big, in around big league clubhouses and in big leagues, dugouts. So he's met big league players. Okay, but this is Stearns who's decided to pick the coaches. And this is who this guy is picking. All right, let's go to Tim Leeper. And I might have pronounced that wrong, Lepper. He's third base coach. Getting a ton of Mets thrown out all the time. At least he has played a ton of AAA ball. Okay, he's almost 60 years old. The thing I don't like about old third base coaches is the speed of the game changes. So it's a different level. I would put guys who had just retired as third base coach who have played, because the biggest thing a third base coach is going to do is sending runners home. He has to calculate all that in his head, how hard a guy throws. You want someone who's just come from the big leagues and has that clock in his head. Okay, we've got a guy that hasn't been on a big league field in 30 years coaching third base. Okay, not just coaching third base, and he's gotten some guys thrown out this year. Listen, all third base coaches do, but just want to kind of point that out. At least he's got AAA. Still, 1 coach with big league experience. 1 coach with big league experience. Okay, let's go to the batting practice pitcher, Kevin Mahoney. All right, Kevin Mahoney. Pitched 5 games at AAA, A-ball, AA guy. Okay, I don't get to. He's throwing BP. Again, yeah, no big league experience, but I don't expect the guy throwing bullpen to have any big league experience, but doesn't have any. Bullpen catchers, Eric Langell. He's a Canadian. All right, he's got AAA. Again, still no big league experience. Okay, we got one guy on the entire staff played in the big leagues. And the most important positions are at, or I've never had any. The most important coaching positions I've had zero, by the way, big league experience or any real professional experience. Okay, you've got, I'm going to pronounce his name right. He played in the big leagues, this guy. It's JP Arancibia. He's a catching coach. He has played big league ball. He was a big league catcher. And it's nice to know that Alvarez and Torrens have somebody to talk to who has played big league baseball, okay, and was at least on the field. So at least the catchers can relate to the coach, as he was a pretty good catcher, a good pop. Wasn't much of a hitter, but he's the catching coach, and he's the only player, I think, with any responsibility who's played. Okay, the Mets also have a quality control coach who does have some big league experience, very little, but it's Danny Barnes. I don't know what a quality control coach does. Make sure the equipment's in good shape, I guess. I really don't know what a quality control coach does, but the Mets have one. They also have a guy on their staff, Daniel McKinney, who's the assistant pitching coach. I don't know. It's unknown, his date of birth. He has no, I can't. They also have Daniel Racaniello, who also has an unknown date of birth and has no big league experience, and he's been a bullpen catcher as well. When I look at this kind of stuff, I shudder, because I just don't think there's anybody out there who understands the speed and strength of the big leaguers today on that Met coach. There's 2 guys who've played ball, Rosado and Arancibia. I'm terrible with names, but it's amazing to me that this is what you get, and it shows that they can't coach. So I struggle with this stuff. I can go through other teams. The Braves, I like to always use the Braves as an example. Braves know what they're doing. Their assistant, their bench coach, Tony Mansolino, was the manager of the Orioles. Darnell Coles was a big-time player, 3,000 at-bats in the big leagues. He's up there helping to make decisions as an assistant hitting coach. It's just amazing to me that you see. Tim Hires has got some big league experience. I'm not saying, you even have to have big, but you got to play AA or AAA to understand the game. Unless you just want some brainiac looking at film all day, because anybody can look at film. Okay, anybody could look at film. Jeremy Hefner's everybody on the Brave staff that's in a position of any type of authority and can impact players as far as a hitting coach and batting coach, pitching coach and hitting coach, has played big league ball. Okay, Antoine Richardson was the Met first base coach. He's now a Brave first base coach. He's got big league experience. He's also got these are all AAA guys. These are guys who know. Okay, they know the speed of the game. The Mets are just the Mets coaching staff, and I feel bad for Mendoza, is overmatched. They're overwhelmed. Okay, and the players are out there by themselves. Okay, they're out there they're basically, when you get coaches who don't know anything, players are simply going to be, I'm just doing my own thing out here. I know more than these guys. And that becomes a dangerous situation. And I get it. It's hard for a first-year coach to go tell Carl Yastrzemski he's playing 22 years about hitting. Okay, you got to know. But the Mets kind of are a younger team in some regards, and then in other ways, with Lindor and guys are not in Soto, but guys who are not on the field, Polanco and Roberts. These guys are veterans of 7-8 years. What are they? What are they going to talk about when you go up to the hitting instructor? What'd you see on film? Okay, it's not like I can tell you, listen, when I was playing, okay, and I had a hole in my swing and I had trouble with inside pitch and I got busted with high inside fastballs and I started to cheat on that. I started to get curveballs low and away and it was hard for me to readjust again. Give the guys something. Do these guys have any experience to give these guys anything? The answer is no. And I just pulled the Braves out. I didn't do a whole deep dive here because the Met coaching staff, the Mets are a very bad fundamental team, okay? And they do, and a lot of things they used to do pretty well, they don't do well anymore, especially stealing bases. But that has been, Stearns has took over. That's what it comes down to. Stearns is now micromanaging every aspect of this ball club, and he doesn't know what the hell he's doing. It's that simple. You can see this in the Mets every day. And also, when you have a guy that wants to come off as being smarter than everybody else, when things go wrong and you're not a natural leader, they tend to spiral downward. There's nobody's going to pull this out. Mendoza's not a fiery guy. He's not, I think when he's a good manager, when things are going well, he's not going to mess it up. Okay? He's going to make the right moves. But in a situation like this, he's going down with the ship. And it's a ship that David Stearns blew a hole in. He blew a massive hole in this. There's no getting around it. From every aspect of this organization he has picked, it's been a failure. Okay? From the players to the coaches, all right? To every aspect of the coaches, to how you are when they walk into the ballpark. Yeah, he's smart. I mean, literally, I could walk in and do this, and so can you. Not to be arrogant about it, but this is anybody. This is what happens. You just pick anybody to run your team for you, and be smart enough to surround yourself with Major League Baseball players who have good reputations and a lot of experience, with actually have a track record of helping other players. Okay? They're hitting. Charlie Lau, whether you agree with his theories or not, helped players. All right? Who has any of these coaches on the Mets staff ever helped? Who have they ever made better? Antoine Richardson made the whole Met team a better base stealing team last year. What coach is making anybody better? Leo Malzone was terrific at not screwing up and helping the Braves. Okay, big three, and you had Millwood, and you have Avery come in. Avery got hurt, but you had guys in there who came in, and he was able to at least not mess that up. Obviously, those guys had tremendous talent, okay, and tremendous work ethic. I'm not giving too much credit to a coach in that situation, but there are coaches who do make a big difference, okay? And there are coaches who are just not enhancing the professionalism of your organization. And when you pick coaches that are basically bookworms and wear glasses and have very little experience in a big league clubhouse, this is what you're going to get. And I know I'm being real hard on the Mets, but I told you this was coming for the coaching, because I watched the lack of fundamentalism and the lack of leadership on a team. And when things start going bad, this is how it goes. This is what you see. All right. Not only are they the worst team that money can buy, they're the worst coached team money has ever bought. I'm Tony Saracino. Thanks for listening. I'll see you next time. Mets got a game today. It's a night game against the Cubs. Just to reiterate again, 9 games out on the wild card, sinking fast, 12 games under 500, and losing games to the Cubs, which is a team in front of them, is just digging a hole that is getting too deep. I'll see you next time. Take care.